All right, all right, all right. We are live. Everybody, welcome back to KMF Legendary Characters, where a couple of us old heads, or you want to call us OGs, where we talk about legendary characters that go on through anime, comics, gaming, characters that can pretty much go on in the pop culture world. So, maybe we might talk about, Batman or Superman in the future, but just mainly just pop culture characters, like I said, anime, gaming, all that good stuff. And I want to say thank you guys to all the love that you guys showed on our first discussion video when we talked about Killua and Go, and I thought it was a really throughout video. Shout out to Nathan, help us organize that because without his help, I don't know how he would have like did that discussion in well firmly format right there. So once again, man, we appreciate it for that. So like I said, I want to say thank you guys to all the love you guys have shown on that video and the podcast version of that. So once again, thank you. And so for today, so it's been a minute since we got on here and talked about that. Real life does come at us, so can't control that. So at least we're not stopping from doing that. So here is the second video. So the second character is a very important character to all of us, not just me, but to all of us. But me, for me, because it was one of the earliest stages where I want to watch anime, and this anime pretty much, introduced cursing and blood, which I thought anime was all about. Oh, goody goody, let's not all the goody, all fun family. I'm like, no, this anime was pretty dark. And the anime we're gonna talk, well, not the anime, but the character from the anime is called Yu Yu Hakusho. But the character we're gonna talk about is the main character. He's an asshole. He's a shit talker. He's very good at fighting. He can be a dumbass sometimes. I don't think he can be a dumbass more than Goku. But when he's fighting, the guy is a fucking genius. And Genkai said that. If you don't know who I'm talking about, we are talking about the motherfucker Yusuke Urameshi. I want to say he's got this nice shirt from In Your Face art right here. So it's a
Yes.
dope ass shirt, and we also got the backside of right here,
Oh,
demon. So yes, shout out to In Your Face for this shirt right here. I wear it for special occasions, and this is a very special occasion to talk about Yusuke Urameshi. And my panel right here, we have my co-host Nathan. What's going on, Nathan? Nathan, how you doing, buddy?
I am good. I'm excited to be back. It has been a while, but like you said, we got real life stuff coming through, and it took us a while to kind of decide what we were doing. We got so much stuff to kind of pick through, and I think we picked a good choice, and hopefully we can kind of decide on the next one better and or faster, and figure out what's going on. Obviously, we're missing Ralph, but we have a good fill in for that, and why don't you go
Yes,
and introduce yourself, Pat, and
yes,
let us know
no.
who you are?
Well,
uh,
well, you already said his name already right there. I was gonna say this first. Before you introduce yourself, Pat. I'm sorry. Pat is a big fan of Yu Yu Hakusho,
oh,
and if I talked about Yusuke Urameshi without mentioning him about it, he'd probably kill me. So I
yeah.
just want to I just want to say that right there because he loves Yu Yu Hakusho, so I cannot talk about Yu Yu Hakusho without Pat on here. So if Pat, buddy, introduce yourself and everything.
Yeah. Patrick, Pat, my friends call me Patimus. Um, you basically said it all. Yu Yu Hakusho was it for me as a child when I first started getting into anime. Here, this was like, I was so used to watching Sailor Moon and shit like that, but here we had like some action packed. I don't even know how the best way to describe it because honestly, the emotions were great. They were high throughout the entire series. The storytelling was great. It was a slow burn to start, but it got you hooked into it through the emotional impact that Urameshi had for the first few episodes. Here's this punk kid, you know, nobody seems to like him. He whoops everybody's ass like he's Jet Li and Bruce Lee's son. And for some reason, a girl likes him, and we for though I mean it's way past spoilers. Where how long ago was this? Like 30 years ago.
This was back in the night, yeah, 30 years ago. So obviously, you haven't watched Yu Yu Hakusho. Spoilers, but I'm pretty sure a lot of you OGs that listen to this right
Yeah,
now have seen it.
yeah. He saves a kid, dies, and like he's all of a sudden this hero. There's this girl who had a crush on him this whole time, and you know
Keiko.
Yeah, Keiko, and they really get you sucked into the story. Like as a kid, I felt that. I felt that in my heart. Like I kind of wanted to cry, especially when she's like holding the egg in the middle of the fire. Yo, blew me away.
It's
After
it's
that, I was there. I was
it's, it's interesting you said because I was saying for me that Yusuke Urameshi is probably one of the not there, I mean I'm sure there's a whole lot of anime characters that can relate that do this too, but like he's one of the first where it's like a lot of people can relate to this guy. Now, granted, I didn't have a hard life like he did, but having
yeah,
a hard life like he did, his dad was a no show, his mom was an alcoholic drunk. She had him at 14, like she had him at a young age.
yeah,
So most people that I know that are that's the bully type, they have a hard life right there. So you just can't. It was tough for him. It was tough for him. That's he was. He was very isolated. So people were like saying, like, "Yo, this dude is just a punk," but like he's just misunderstood, right? And when he died, I also feel so. This goes to a lesson for a lot of people, where it's like when he died, he thought, okay, well, it's a piece of shit anyway. People are gonna think that are gonna be happy that I'm gone, but there are still people that are still going to love you even when you're gone. Because you looked at his funeral, Keiko was crying her eyes like she was devastated. Kuwabara was like
yeah,
he was sad. Like I said, he knew like he loves fighting against Yusuke. Like he loves fighting against Yusuke. He's like, I don't fight him because I like to lose. I like fighting because that's my guy right there. Like Kuwabara had a soft spot for Yusuke. And then the one principal, the one was the principal was he a principal? But the one
yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah.
was a
The
hockey member
principal.
principal. Cool.
and the one guy from the school, he felt something right there. So like don't ever sell your life short like there. There's people that are gonna be caring about you. Even his mom, being no she cared about him. She was crying at the funeral too. So it's almost like for me a Biggie moment. Shout out to Big Biggie because he had an album called Ready to Die. He said, "Yo, when I die, people ain't gonna care about me." Whereas with Yusuke, he thought the same way too. But here, people still love him. It's like what, man, maybe do need to get do get a second shot at life. So it was very moving right there on that episode.
Well, I mean, and that's we kind of how we started the last episode, right? And before we get too far into it, I'm talking about what we started with the last one, and I think it's kind of impactful for just a general introduction to it. Is like how you heard about it, Pat. You kind of talked about it with, um, and you two, RL, with the it being that kind of first anime that really like cursed, and there was a lot of blood that you saw. I mean, we talked about it with Killer and Gone too, where like these ones that we're talking about are such older animes
Yeah,
that they were changes in the animes at the time where they're so violent and different compared to some of the other stuff that's out there. Like you mentioned, Pat, with like Sailor Moon, and even like thinking about Card Captors and stuff that was out at that
Oh
time, where
man,
they were good animes at that time, but they weren't violent in the
yeah,
same way, right? Like the stuff that was happening was very different. But you look at stuff like Hunter x Hunter, or I mean, Rurouni Kenshin is one that I loved at that time too, and Yu Yu Hakusho, and the level of violence and just not vulgarity, but the level of the way that they talked and interacted with each other was so different. And I mean, obviously, the way that I saw it was Toonami
adults.
and Cartoon
yep,
Network.
Well,
But
not to
then,
cut you off, Nathan, but it was originally on Adult Swim first. They rate like you guys was on Adult Swim first. It ran into the it ended after the Four Saints beats arc. Like it would start again. Then when it got to Tanami, it went to the first, I don't know, it's 14 episodes, but it went to the Saint beats. Then it went to Tagoro. So it started with Adult Swim first, and somehow Cartoon Network got might have got rights of it, but hey, we can start airing this show on our network. Obviously we don't have the blood on that stuff, but like Cartoon Network kind of extended the dub version along with and Rurouni Kenshin. I saw Rurouni Kenshin first on
yeah,
Tanami first. Let's cut you off right there.
okay, no, that's like I can't ever remember which was. I always remembered it as Toonami to begin with. So, but like back basically the Saturday morning cartoons, right? Like that kind of stuff with all of that and watching them then. But that's where I remember watching it first and just being so enthralled, like Pat said, with the fact that like it was violent, and they were just, it was that level of difference compared to everything else that was out. But that's where I remember watching it, and I was that kind of person who would rush home and sit in front of the TV and watch it. And I don't know. I mean, I know that's RL. We talked about that last time, but and it sounds like that was the same way for you, Pat. Where like,
Oh yeah.
we're all those kind of people who would sit in front of the TV and watch them on Saturday morning, because that's what we.
Well, also remember, it was every day. It was a new episode. We didn't have to wait a week. It was every day was a new episode on Tsunami.
Yeah, I remember during the summer, we all the neighborhood kids. I used to live on a cul-de-sac. We'd all go to this girl's aunt's house and sit in the basement. They'd be cooking oxtails and curry goat.
Oh God, that's so
delicious. I would be sitting there trying new food, watching Toonami, like you said, the Rurouni Kenshin, Yu Yu Hakusho, like little block that they had going there.
Yeah.
All be glued to the screen. Bunch of 8, 9, 10-year-olds just chilling, watching Toonami. Yo, it was probably some of the best moments of my childhood.
God, I feel so damn old. I miss those days.
For sure.
I miss those days. But like I said, throughout this podcast, we're gonna talk about, just like how we talk about, Killua and Gon's growth and impact. We're gonna do the same thing with Yusuke. And I think we already like touched base on it earlier on when we talked about, him dying, him having the impact on everybody right there. It just, it was sad. And then piggyback on what Pat said when Yusuke threw the gold egg, because that was his ticket of going back to the real world. And he used that to save Keiko, which, that was a moment right there, because he had to wait like 1,000 years or something like that.
Yeah.
It was a long time. And
you're mixing stuff up here, because the golden egg wasn't the 1,000-year.
Oh no, that was
with if he didn't get them to give the life force.
Yeah,
because he has a special life cycle, which I assume is related to his demon blood, which you don't find out till the Black Ark saga, or till the Black Saga. But the golden egg was if he didn't have enough positive ki or whatever, then it would turn into a evil being, and he would basically be dead permanently.
Yeah, it swallowed his soul more or less.
Yeah, thank you for correcting me. I forgot about that. My bad.
But before that, like, let's talk about the fact that like the first thing that happens basically in this, like in the first episode, is he dies. Like, I mean, what kind of opening is that? Like, yes, you see that more and more nowadays, like Truck Kun and that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna try that stuff.
Like, thinking about it back to it now, like, and like you were talking about, Pat, like he's this kid that like he's a tough guy. He runs around fighting people. He skips school. Nobody cares about him. But like the first thing he does is you see him goofing off with this like child playing with a soccer ball, and then he jumps in front of a car. Like that was a big thing back then. Like he literally just tries to save this little kid, this tough guy and then I mean, it leads into everything else. But that was kind of an interesting, I thought, thing that they started with. Obviously, it's for specific reasons, but
you brought that up because like you said, that's what a lot of animes are today, right now. And I'm like, wow. So I guess Yusuke was one of the OGs that did that first. Harry, I'm saying I'm getting tired of that shit, but my anime that I love so much did that. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, and like sure, it's what led him to be a spirit detective, but I mean, sure, there were other ways he could have become a spirit detective. Obviously, if you look at Kurbar, technically is pseudo spirit detective and that kind of stuff later on. But I mean, looking into it, but like the golden egg and stuff like that. Obviously, he had to make that choice between possibly not resurrecting or saving Keiko, which he obviously is going to save Keiko because he loves her, and that kind of thing. But that was a big moment, like you said, like deciding to do that. And I think it was that growth of like we see it throughout the whole series of him. He doesn't even think about it, right? He's like, as soon as he knows if that's a choice, he just throws it. There's zero thought. It's like, okay, done. He has zero thought process. It's just
one of the things, not to cut you off, one of the things that I love about the series itself is the fact that it's filled with all these moments of you seeing Yusuke growing a little bit, whether it's, you know, the way that he fights, he becomes a little smarter about it. He grows as a person, grows into a little bit more mature of an adult, but he still is the same, you know, fighting punk. He still wears that sort of, I guess, facade as he continues to grow. And I don't know. I personally, I love the fact that they had him stay who he was throughout it, more or less. He did grow as a person, but he still had that wild streak that he always did. And let's not forget, he was what, 13, 14 doing this? That
He's 14. Yeah.
14.
blew my mind. As a kid, I was like, yo, no way. No way. You can't. You telling me at 14 years old I can be doing this stuff? This is cool.
Well, and I think it's interesting. Like what you look at, and like I think RL mentioned it. Like he has this fighting instinct, right?
Yeah.
Of like he's a thug. Like let's just get that out there. He is a thug. He's got instinct to fight, but like half the stuff he does, he doesn't know if it's gonna work. You talk about the first. I guess it's technically the second arc. I have it open on another screen I'm looking at, but when they're recovering the artifacts from like Hiei and Kurama and
Yeah.
Goki, right? When he goes to shoot the mirror and he's not sure if the spirit gun's gonna reflect, and like they're all like, "Oh, how'd you know it was gonna do it?" And he's like, "I had no idea. I just did it." Like
Well,
that's what he does the entire time.
Well, see,
Reckless.
Nathan, it's usually you brought it up because I was going to say that in his Spirit Detective, his early work, a lot of his fights were lucky. Like his
100%.
first, like
Rando?
Goki, she had to get a tree. Like I said, Hiei, Mirror. Even before, what was that demon's name we just said?
Goki, Rando, yeah,
Rando.
No, the Rando, that was
Even
complete
before,
luck.
even before Rando, right? He fought against that one guy in the dark. He used Genkai's cigarette to like,
Yeah.
find
Yeah.
where it was. Then he fights the ninja, falls into like a puddle right
That's
there.
Rando, yeah.
Yeah. No. It was a ninja guy first. He fought. He told Cobra, "Yo, it's up to you." And then he just falls in this puddle, and he beats it. He basically falls. He got lucky in that one. But yeah, Rando gets knocked out, has no spirit energy left. Rando does his spell. Gets like, yeah, when you do that spell, the lizard has to.
When he had the stuff in his ears, yeah.
Yeah. The guy has to hear you, and it's like, oh snap, I got lucky. But then after that, he got into a better fight, and it wasn't really quoted, it wasn't even said, but I'm pretty sure Genkai saw this. But yeah, I guess you to be a better fighter without relying on luck right there. So I just want to piggyback on what you said right there, Nathan.
I mean, a lot of it though is like, and Genkai even says it. Like, there are points where Genkai mentions like he literally is lucky. Like, he has a baseline of like understanding that he's capable, but also he's just stupid lucky.
Yeah, dude. I just want to say, in one of his trading montages, this still hurts me to this day. It's like when he's training Genkai with the little bolt with his little chains on his legs, and when he's climbing up the mountain, and when he fell through the mountain, Genkai starts like punching him. I just want to say that was brutal. I just want to say
the cuffs or whatever.
The cuffs, and she just goes there and just starts punching him before, and I'm like, that's pretty brutal for training. I just want to say that.
It doesn't surprise me with a mentor like Genkai that he ended up being who he was, because she whooped his ass as she trained him, as you said. Like, and you could see that she truly cared about him, and I feel like it really resonated with him, because that was like the real first person that he felt was somebody who cared about him enough to put up with his bullshit and teach him, and actually put the time and effort in to make him into a man. And without that, I don't think he was taking her energy the way that he did.
Mm-hmm.
Flat out, because it literally tore him apart. I remember watching that scene and just thinking to myself, like, is he gonna make it? Like, what's gonna happen? As a kid, I'm like freaking out in my head, like, oh no, like, what's he gonna do? Is he even gonna make it back to the Dark Tournament? But that, either way, my whole point was the fact that with Genkai, to piggyback off on what you said, that I really feel like that tough love resonated with him big time.
Oh, I mean, for sure. Like that's definitely, I think, what he is used to, though. Like his
Yeah.
mom being the drunk that she was, and that kind of stuff. Like obviously she cared about him immensely, but she also wasn't very present. Like,
No.
and that definitely, I think, like you said, resonated. But so like with that, like the rando and stuff like that. But moving into further, one thing I do want to point out though is like, let's talk about the fact that he basically only has 2 attacks throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
I want to bring that up as we go into it, like thinking about how many attacks Yusuke actually has, and it's all of them, and this can be brought to all of them. Like it's something I think that Yu Yu Hakusho does that a lot of shows don't do, like especially nowadays. They all have so many different attacks, and they learn more. Like look at My Hero and anything nowadays. I mean, even Shield Hero and those kind of things. Like they learn so many different evolving attacks. But you go back to something like Yu Yu Hakusho. At the baseline, he's got Spirit Gun and Spirit Shotgun.
You gotta.
He learned Spirit Wave eventually. It was it during the Dark Tournament?
He does have Spirit Wave, but that's looking at it just his
you
body.
kind of forget about it though, which I kind of forgot about the Spirit Wave thing that you just brought up, and I just remember Spirit Gun and
But
and
that's what he relied on.
It basically it says it's turning his body into a catalyst for spirit energy.
Yeah.
And he only uses it against Jin, and then he tries to use it against Sensui.
Yeah.
So it's only technically used twice.
Yeah.
But even though he used like 2 signature moves, a lot of his fights were still iconic though, because here's my thing. I love the fight against him and Taguro. I love the fight against him and Sensui. I love the fight against him and Yomi. But this is the one fight I don't think this does not get talked about, and I think this gets very underrated. His knife edge death match with Chu.
Yes.
That was a classic street fight. No more this martial arts power up moves, straight street fighting. We got no energy. We use our fits. Like that's classic street fighting, right there. I was just watching before we even started. Like it was more than just just a normal fight. It was like Kurbai was like, "Do you see what's going on right now? Like nothing else matters right now. It's a fight between 2 legends. Like that was an iconic fight. We don't have many anime fights that are like that. It was just like I got no more energy left. So just
brawling it out right here.
Just brawl it out right here. It's classic street fight. Like he used that street fighting method against Sensui when he wrapped his shirt around around his hand, and the Sensui was like, "This is martial arts. No, it's called street fighting." No, it's like that.
He does it similar with the Doctor though too, right? Like even before, or is it? It's after Chu. He does it similarly again. He fights the Doctor in a similar way. Yeah, he shoots at him with the spirit gun and chops his arm off, but then the Doctor just reattaches it. But he literally just goes into brawl with Doctor. And
because he could have easily killed him anytime he wanted to, but like he was a human, so I mean, yeah, he can set his patch up, but like Yusuke knows, like I'm too powerful for this guy, but I don't want to kill the guy though. Like he easily use a spirit gun to decapitate his head.
But so that was the thing is like, and then I was rewatching the Doctor fight before this, but he's like, at some point he's like, I'm just gonna blow your head off, but he doesn't. Like and then that was one of the things we talked about. Like it talks about it throughout, and at the beginning he's very aware of like he doesn't want to kill people, and he's very against the demons eating humans and stealing their life force and this kind of stuff. But especially after Black Saga, when he awakens the demon bloodline and that kind of stuff, there's a shift, and it's kind of subtle at first, but as near the end of Black Saga and into the Three Kings Saga, especially after Ryzen, and like Ryzen saying like, if I had eaten or taken more human life force, like I could have lived. Like you see Yusuke start to realize that like there's a balance of like there has to be a balance between like the demons need to survive and humans need to survive. And so like I think at some point I was reading that like Yusuke literally says like I'll go kidnap humans to feed Ryzen. Like, and it's that shift of like Yusuke throughout this whole time is like, no, demons have to be separate from humans, and at this point he's like, no, I will go kidnap humans to give you. And like is at just the demon bloodline, or is that Yusuke's mentality shifting and like the neutrality coming through?
Well,
And how does that work?
I kind of want to piggyback on that, like, because it goes into his earlier work, right? He was raised that demons were bad, right? But
Mhm.
then at an early age, remember, Sensui, this is why I feel as though he kind of grew better than what Sensui did. Because Sensui was saw the world in black and white. Evils are bad. Evils are bad. Humans are good. Now he did question, are we worth protected, right? So you look at Yusuke's early mission, right? Probably his early mission. It was like it was rescuing Yukina, right? He was told immediately that she was kidnapped by these bad humans, right? Sensui at the time, he didn't know that humans were bad. Koema at least mentioned to Yusuke, yo, these humans are bad, right? So they knew what they were doing to Yukina. They could have shifted right there like Sensui. Now, granted, what Sensui saw was a lot worse than what Yusuke and Kuwabara saw. So maybe you can't really compare the two, but you know, after what they've done, it's like, yo, we cannot. Why would we bother doing this shit? But it just showed that not all demons are bad because Kuwabara said to Yukina, you probably hate all humans. She's like, no, I don't hate all humans. I know there are bad humans out there too. So I feel as though at that early age, Yusuke kind of outgrew, Sensui. That's why, Koma kind of like dissed him by saying, I want someone that wouldn't think too much. You know what I'm saying? Because Yusuke didn't think too much about that. So, and he said, yo, there's stuff that I saw on the chapter on the Six Live News that pisses me off every day, but I'm not gonna go ahead and, kill humanity off for that. And this is why part of the reason why I think, in my opinion, I like Chapter Black better than the Dark Term, which, not to take away from the Dark Term. Dark Term was great, but like Chapter Black really saw the dark side of humanity right there. And Yusuke is right, yeah. Yusuke's like, yeah, humanity sucks, but I'm not going ahead and, kind of kill humanity all that for that, for just a couple of bad people. So I just want to piggyback on what you said right there. But Yusuke did say earlier on too that when he was on to the other spirit detective, when his father's mentioned. It's like, yeah, if you're hungry, you gotta eat. You gotta eat. And she said, "Yo, you're losing your humanity right now by saying that." So it was a couple of times when Yusuke was like, his demon side was a bit talking right there.
I mean, realistically, with a kind of strong transition with his demon bloodline, you got to expect a little bit of a morality shift. No, I mean,
Mhm.
let's be honest. Him in demon form is unstoppable. So there is still a hint of Yusuke there as far as the morality is concerned. But you definitely got to expect that kind of strength to shift his mentality a little bit, like you said, Nathan. Um, that was just my piece, at least how I viewed it towards the end there.
By the way, when he turned to his demon form, that was probably one of the first ever ass whoopings I saw in anime history where I felt bad for Sensui. Like he
Yeah,
whooped his ass. Like especially when we got to the headbutting part, I was speechless. I'm just like, when he headbutt, like, bound up the punch, but that headbutt, I'm like,
the most disrespectful move you could do to somebody.
for real, man. I'm just like, I had no words. I had no words on that, and I was just like, I was just speechless on that part. It was just brutal, just brutal.
Well, and that was, I mean, like that's that thing though. Is Yusuke isn't the one who did it, right? Remember,
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ryzen was in control,
yes.
and so it's that thing of like, is there was that thing where Yusuke was pissed off because Ryzen was in control, and Yusuke felt like he should have been the one to make that choice, whether or not Sensui died, and not Ryzen, and so like it's that hard part where how that I think is kind of that start of where that morality shift happens is does he, even though he is that ancient demon bloodline, does it matter, how does he decide at what point, where does that line draw? But like you said, like since we is an S class power, and so like there aren't many people who can stop him. Even Enma and Konman are struggling at that point, right? And it's that same thing as you move into like the Three Kings saga near the end of the series, where Enma and Konma are afraid of Yusuke,
Hmm.
and
mhm.
like that as you move into that saga where they want to remove him from being a spirit detective, right? Because they're afraid of him being in the human realm.
Did did that did now just out of curiosity, did that intrigue you even more to find when you found that use case like part demon? Because it's like because I was just astonished on him doing all these things as a human. Now that he's a demon, now it's like damn, like I still
I
have
mean, there
love
had
for
to be
you.
a twist.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say I couldn't be too surprised. I mean, there's no way a 14-year-old is this good at handing out ass whoopings. Basically, defies death and the laws of nature, and there's no way that he's just a pure human. It's not possible. When they introduced that in my head, it kind of clicked. I'm like, you know what? It kind of makes sense. You
Well, and they
know,
basically said that the first time that he died, it didn't awaken because he wasn't strong enough, and the only
yeah.
reason it happened the second time is because his
power.
class power was high enough.
Yeah.
And Koeman did a bad job at that by not noticing. And he's like, "Oh my god, this could be the Musk." I'm like, "Damn, Koeman, how you missed that shit right there?"
Like, I don't got a file on this or something. Like,
But that was still cool though. That was still cool. I mean, even when he even faked the guys, I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm a demon now. I'm a sure human." I said, "No, I'm still the same guy. Like I'm still the same guy. You guys all know and love. Like even though I'm part demon, you know, I'm still gonna protect you guys."
He's
And he
got the Super Saiyan hair or Super
yeah,
Saiyan war hair, you know.
yeah, it
a
was
lot of
dope.
because when they introduced it, they didn't make it feel like they were jumping the shark with it.
Yeah.
It was introduced very well. It didn't feel ridiculous. I through all my watch throughs, I never remember thinking to myself like, "You guys didn't need to do all this. This is ridiculous. You threw this in for what?"
Yeah, it didn't feel like they were like grabbing it out of nowhere. Like
Yeah,
it
exactly.
felt
No.
very
Filler
like in
crap.
line. It wasn't one of those random like, oh, like, huh.
By the way,
Yeah.
Which I did, by the way, rewatching the three Demon Kings. I did like the arc. I think back in Instagram, I'm like, I wasn't a big fan of it, but after rewatching it, it wasn't that bad. Especially when he proposed the tournament.
Yeah.
Because even before that, right? When we were watching Yu Yu Hakusho earlier on, we were thinking that Demon World is just this bad place. Don't go there. But when you went there, it's like it doesn't seem all that bad. Like these demons are cool. Like y'all making demons to be out, these evil beings, like kill everything on sight. But these guys are actually pretty damn cool. I mean, even before the Three Kings arc, you look at Chu, Jin, all those other demons, they all fuck with Yusuke after the Dark Tournament arc. Like they show appreciation for Yusuke. And I feel as though that goes into his character development right there because just like a little bit like Goku, Gon, and Killua, they're impacting on a lot of people. They went from these guys that were that lost their way being with these multimillionaire people, but after fighting with Yusuke, it's like, yo, I found life again. I'm a better person for that. So gotta give a shout out to Yusuke for that. But back to the whole Demon King thing though, he proposed a tournament. It's like, yo, let's not have this civil war against each other. Let's have a tournament every 3 or 4 years. Almost like a presidential election. We host a tournament, and whoever wins that tournament can be king of Demon World. And he says, I don't want there to be any killing. I thought that's a big thing for you telling these demons that have been killing each other for God knows how long to not kill. That's a big step up right there. To host a tournament like that and tell people not to kill everybody. And he knew that, I'm not going to win this tournament. I'm not sure. I'm not strong enough. So I feel that was a very good decision by him, for a tournament.
I mean, like that was the thing, right? Is that he's gone through 2 or 3 base pseudo tournaments now between the dark tournament, I mean the Saint Beast arc isn't technically a tournament, but it sort of is.
It's
And then he grew up fighting, so like to him, fighting is the baseline.
But he did. He said he learned it from history class, though.
Yeah.
He said he learned it from history class, so he was paying attention in school at least. But yeah, so
I mean that's how old
Yeah.
people or old civilizations used to elect the rulers. Is you used to fight, and whoever was last one standing was win, right? So
I can't be the only one that got Mortal Kombat vibes from that though.
a little bit.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just waiting
By
for
the
the
way,
lightning bolt to come down,
I know,
But
but
I mean, that was a really good one too, and that whole that whole thing where he was, it kind of brought him back from that idea of losing himself after he gained the demon blood of humans versus demons, and where's his mentality at, and then in the middle of that he kind of realized that he didn't know who he was or what he was doing anymore, and that whole part of when he was fighting Yomi, that idea of why am I doing this? Like, do I even want to be the Demon King? And why am I here? What am I doing? And that idea of it talks about Ryzen coming back, and you may not be fighting for a specific thing, but you're still fighting to protect your friends, and that's why you're doing this, right? Because if maybe whoever takes over is going to invade the human world, right? And so that's why you're fighting. And that's, of course, when Yusuke gets sacred energy. But
well, no, they no. First, they say it wasn't. It was a different type of energy. They said,
right,
was,
but it's similar to sacred energy.
But also, to piggyback on what you said before, he even said, "I fought for Toguro and I fought for Sensui."
Yeah.
Toguro wanted to fight me. I didn't want to fight Toguro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think both Toguro and Sensui, big villains, they said thank you to Urameshi. Like Toguro saw potential in Yusuke. Like, you don't see a lot of major villains see potential in that major character. Be like, yo, you could be the one that should kill me. You know what I'm saying? And so
Yusuke, I mean, you do nowadays. There's a lot of
you do nowadays. Yeah, you do nowadays. Oh yeah, nowadays, yeah. But back then, I didn't see that like that. So I mean, when Toguro was defeated, he said thank you. Like, now, granted, when he killed Kuwabara, did he knew he didn't kill him, or was it just did he actually try to kill him? Like,
I mean, Kuwabara, it literally Kuwabara comes back and literally says that he.
Oh yeah, he did. He missed
because he knew it would piss Yusuke off.
Yeah,
and that's why Yusuke beat the shit out of Kuwabara afterwards.
Yeah, yeah, he did. Even he even brought up your friends make you stronger from earlier on. So it was so you gotta get shout out to Toguro. Oh, Pat, I didn't hear you.
It was a constant throughout the show. Like, he was always stepping up for the sake of protecting his friends. He cried over Kuwabara, for God's sakes.
Like, I mean, that's why he gained that power. He went from it was lower B to upper B or something was the power jump they specifically said in the Dark Tournament.
Yeah. And so, like I said, Toguro thanked him. He wanted to die. He was like, yeah, I saw potential in you. And then, in a way, Sensui said thank you. Now, granted, Sensui was gonna die anyway. I think I forgot Sensui's partner's name. But he said that what's up?
Sniper.
Not Sniper, but Gatekeeper. He said that he only had a month left to live or whatever, and
Game Master.
What's up?
Is it Game Master?
No, Gatekeeper. So it was a Black Angel, Gatekeeper, Game Master, Gourmet, Sniper, Seaman, and Doctor. So I think Black Angel was Sensui, and Gatekeeper was that demon. But even Sensui said thank you because he came into he wanted to die in a demon world for all the crimes that he committed against him. He said, and Grant Yusuke didn't like that, but Sensui still said thank you and all that. So it's like you kind of feel bad. It's like, dang man, these villains are raw, cold hearted, but they thanked Yusuke in the end for killing them. And like I said, to piggyback on what Nathan said, how he just fought for everybody. Yeah, he fought for the others, but then in this tournament, he's fighting for his friends. So I thought that was a good point. I wanted to bring that up, but thank you for bringing that up too, Nathan. That was a very good point. But to say all that, I mean, I just feel as though that this anime to me is just. Would you ever want to see Yu Yu Hakusho ever come back in today's world?
Well, so let's ask that one of the other questions that we asked with Gon and Kilo is do you think watching this anime now results in a different feeling than when you first watched it? That was one that we asked for Hunter x Hunter, right? So watching it now compared to when you watched it the first time.
Like I said, rewatch it again. Chapter Block I watched religiously like almost all the time, right? But then the Demon King arc, I mean, that turned it around for me. Like I didn't like it. I wasn't a big fan of it at first, but then probably still there. Disappeared. Oh, he just
His wife was in the background. I don't know what was going on.
uh, yeah, his life's in the background. Yeah, hopefully everything is okay. Sorry about that, folks. I think it's fixing some things right there. But I guess we'll it on. Uh, Sorry about that, folks. Going through some technical difficulties right now on that. But oh, it's one thing I also want to talk about too. Um, hopefully everything's okay. Hopefully everything's okay. Dang, it's kind of awkward. I'm sure he'll text me, say tell me what's going on. But actually, to your question, I did want to bring it. Here he is. He's alive. He's alive. He's
Um,
a,
what did we leave off on?
So,
well,
would do you think watching the anime now results in different feelings or feeling differently than when you watched it the first time? Like, if you rewatch it now, do you feel differently than like when you first watched it?
listen,
Um, I would honestly say only in the fact that now that I'm an adult and I have a better understanding of moral compasses and the relativity of morality, I kind of look at it at a little bit more of a philosophical view as like first of all these demons they're being portrayed as these horrible monsters like you guys were talking about, but realistically they're nothing different than what we're being portrayed as. So at the end of the day, we're no different from them. We're not to use the cliche, humans are the monsters. Um
That's fair.
and yeah, and honestly, I kind of understand Yusuke's struggle a little bit more as we were alluding to being the protector. Because yeah, I got a family now. Like I get it. I understand why he would go through those emotional um tribulations and end up being overpowered because it's just that adrenaline. It's that this is what I'm fighting for kind of thing. As a kid, I didn't know anything about that. All I saw was the blood. I heard the cursing, and I saw people getting whooped left and right. Like
yep.
Yeah.
so, I don't know. It's more of an emotional kind of thing for me now when I'm watching it at certain points. Don't get me wrong. When I'm watching like the knife fight with Chu in the dark tournament, I still get the blood still pumping. Like I'm still standing screaming at the fucking TV like I did when I was like 8, 9, 10 years old when I was watching it for the first few times.
Well, also, so to be back on what you said right there, so I kind of agree where you're coming from. So for me, I would say because nowadays in today's world, right, you definitely see the best of humanity now, right?
Mhm.
Because we have the smartphones, we got internet, got all that stuff. People have been talking about humanity sucks for a long time. They say that in like the 90s. Hell, you go back to the Little Mermaid. Sebastian said to Ariel, the human world is a mess. So we go back
Yeah,
to the 80s. We have been talking that we've been saying that humanity has just been bad for a long ass time. And then when Seaman was talking about the video, he said like war, and then a soldier killing his mother in front of a family and his eyes enjoying the torture. Like that shit was. You saw Keiko crying at that point. So
yeah,
because that can break a lot of people, and so and that's why I continue to say why Check the Black is just the most relatable arc I've ever seen. Like this anime still holds up. We have a lot of people still mention it, still cosplaying it, still loving Yusuke Urameshi, artwork, everything, right? Like, there's only a few animes that can still hold up to this day. I mean, honestly, you probably don't even have to see it come back. Honestly, I
no,
mean, would I like to see it come back? Yo, yeah, because it's my favorite anime, one of my favorite animes of all time. I would still love to watch it, but watching it like now from when I was a kid, I mean, like I said, I understand more. I understand more why I like the three King Demon arc, but like to me, ah, honestly, it's the same for me. Honestly,
I think it's a like like Pat was saying, like back then it was so much more, and it was so much more about just the level of difference compared to like the violence and the excitement and how different it was compared to everything else. And um like looking at it now, you can't compare it to the things that are out now. I mean, I think we talked about it last time. It's just everything is so much more fast paced, and there's so much more in your face stuff now, and it's just the way anime is right now, and it doesn't tell stories the same way. And that's the thing, that like there's 100 and something episodes of this, and it takes all of that to tell the story. And you look at Bleach and One Piece and Naruto, and all of them are great. There are so much. Yu Yu Hakusho doesn't really have filler, and
Every episode is important
in the way that those do. And like, and I'm not saying they're bad, but like every episode of Yu Yu Hakusho is important, and each one is an integral piece to the next. And it's, as an adult, you look to it, and like Pat was saying, like you see all of the dilemmas, and it's at its core, Yu Yu Hakusho has this dark back to it, like the with Seaman and with Yu Yu Hakusho's own, or with Yusuke's own moral dilemma, like of that demon versus human interaction, right? And even even the afterlife stuff, like watching all of the people go through the afterlife and how they have to proceed through that, like as a 14-year-old seeing that, and then knowing that, like imagining how that feels as a 14-year-old, like that's gotta be tough, like because remember, he has to go through it, like Botan takes him through all of it to get to Koenma's castle. Like he gets to see all of those people, and it's that thing of like, as a kid, you weren't thinking about that. You're just like, oh, this is super cool, like look at all this. And then you think about it like as an adult, and you're like, this is pretty heavy for kids, like okay. And like it's super cool, like thinking about it now, but like I'm trying to think about like the kids nowadays watching it, I'm like, they would be so bored.
Well, like I said, like Pat said, it's a slow start.
Yeah, it is. It's super slow. But even like in between, like they would watch specific parts of it, but they would get bored with the in between. Like
I actually, not to cut you off, I pride myself in the fact this was, I believe, my kids' first anime. They loved it.
Awesome.
This to Rurouni Kenshin, and they were just absolutely enamored with anime after that. So there's still hope. There's still hope.
But I'm glad you said it was your first anime, because I'll be honest with you, as much as I love Yu Yu Hakusho, I guess with it being 112 episodes, I wouldn't recommend it on my first anime to watch. But after you saying all that, I probably would now, because like I said, 112, you can get through that pretty fast nowadays, if you ask me.
I mean, Rurouni Kenshin's amazing. That's one I want to do for sure. But I don't know, like it's that thing of like, I think it's such a great anime, and back then I loved it so much, and looking again and watching the pieces and watching the fights, like they were just so good. Like the style isn't as evolved as it is now, like, but trying to imagine it in today's art style, I don't know that I would like it as much necessarily. Like, yeah, it'd be cool.
Well, that's why I first thought, you have a lot of these new people that watch anime now, they wouldn't want to watch this,
right?
That's because we've been too spoiled nowadays. We spoil ourselves. Like I said, after watching anime like Chainsaw Man, or definitely with Bleach, that art style is incredible. They're not going to want to go from that to seeing this.
To be fair, the new Bleach, like bringing Bleach forward the way they have in the new season, they did very well. Like watching the original Bleach art style to the new season's art style, I'm happy with how they've done it. But like, it's, yeah, I don't know that I don't know, Yu Yu Hakusho, like a new reboot of it I don't know if it would do as well.
You know, honestly, I've thought
it probably wouldn't, but I still watch it because I'm a fan of it.
Now, I just feel like there's one studio out right now, the guys that did the first seasons of Demon Slayer so far. The art for that has been fantastic. Honestly, it was one of the reasons that I got into it. If I could see something like that, especially the way they do, like they draw the elements throughout the fight scenes, if I could see something like that in Yu Yu Hakusho, I don't want a total overhaul to where we're just completely rebooting it, making it looks like some new age Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crap. If I could see like just a little basic revamp of the art, and just give us a little bit of extra oomph with, you know, the spirit energy and stuff like that, similar to how Tanjiro does his water wheel and things like that. I think that'd be pretty dope. I would definitely watch through it just to see how it looked. But I don't think it needs to be completely reworked, you know?
No, it doesn't need to be. Oh, by the way, we left that one important part of Yusuke, right? I just realized that Yusuke fights anybody. Doesn't matter if it's a girl or a little girl or for somebody's grandma across the street. I'll still knock her ass out. If anyone doesn't know about that, it was part where they're gonna fight that one girl. Crow was like, "Oh, we don't fight girls." Yusuke's like, "She's in her way. Fuck this. We're gonna fight her." Like that was a good moment right there.
True. Yusuke
Like,
will fight
like
anyone.
that's what I'm saying. Like
He
these hands
brings
are
that
these.
black Nike energy.
Yeah, these hands are ready to eat for everybody. Everybody can get all these hands. Now, granted, it was a dude apparently, so because the felonies weren't stolen, but that was a that was a big moment right there for him.
No, it
But
was on.
also, also, we as we love Yusuke, we
Mhm.
didn't talk about any negatives we have about him. I'm sure there's maybe one scene that he did that kind of bothered you. So I want to hear things that slightly bother Yusuke. One thing that bothered him is that he has too much pride.
Mhm.
Because when he was fighting against Sensui, he was like, "Come on, man, get the hell out of here! I got it. It's my case to solve." They said essentially, "Let me. See, I want to see who's your best. I'm gonna knock his ass out." Yeah, Shinobu whooped your ass, but you wanted that shit, but that was too much for you right there. So that was the one thing that slightly bothered me with Yusuke right there. Too
They're
much
all
their pride.
prideful.
That's true.
Yeah.
Hiei, Kurobara, they're all prideful.
Yeah,
Like, it's not just Yusuke.
that's true. That's true. That's true. I still love him though. I still love him to death. But
Yeah.
also, I thought that was a very. By the way, for all you people out there that might get mad when I say this, fuck y'all. I watched Yu Yu Hakusho in dubbed. It's one of the few animes I watched in dub. Okay, so
Yeah.
just I love the dub. I love the dub version of this anime. So I'm sorry, and it's gonna piss people off. Oh God, Nathan, don't give me that look. That was
I'm
that's
not.
one
I'm
of the
not gonna gatekeep. I get creeped out by dubs. I don't know. I just. I'm.
that was one of the best few dubs
If you
out
want to watch
there.
dubs, that's fine. You do you. I'm not gonna
I've
say you're.
to them because of my kids.
That's
But
fair.
um Yu 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 Hakusho and Dragon Ball Z were the only ones that I had to watch dub. Dragon Ball Z just because I could not and I'm sure everybody agrees with Goku's voice was just unbearable. It felt like my eardrums were gonna pop. Yu Yu Hakusho was just more of a comfort thing.
It's fair.
I don't know what it was. Even watching Rurouni Kenshin not dubbed didn't like necessarily bother me as much as like if I tried to sit there and watch a Yu Yu Hakusho, you know, just straight subtitled. I've never been able to fully get through it that way.
I think on to what Aro was talking about, like the things that, like, to me, I get Yusuke's morality thing of like not wanting to hurt people, but there's a line between beating them up the minimum amount and disabling them that he could have easily crossed multiple times, and he just chose to punch them instead of like disabling them. And I'm like, you could have just done this 10 times faster if you just like spirit fisted them and knocked them the fuck out, but you just wanted to punch them a few times. But like, I
Yeah,
get it. It's anime. They want to like make him struggle and
yeah,
possibly look like
exactly.
he's gonna lose the fight. But like,
How much of that is that, but also him not going all out just because like he likes to fight? Because
that's
I
fair.
because
Yeah,
we think about what he went through with Tagoro, the way, like you said, he thanked him at the end when Yusuke finally beat him. I kind of feel like they were one and the same in the fact that they just both loved to fight so much that they were finally happy with finding somebody that could really push them to the 100%. I mean, that was kind of the whole reason of Yusuke being in the dark tournament of how everything played out was just so that those two could face off. That's I kind of feel like Yusuke never grows out of that.
Yeah,
he doesn't. He doesn't. And that's why you have Takara as one of the best villains of
Yeah.
anime history, and then they also see Yusuke as one of the best protagonists out there. People, I mean, everyone has their own opinion. Some consider him to be the best. Some people consider him to be, top three. I mean, I mean, I have Goku as mine for personal reasons, but like Yusuke is definitely up there for me.
Yeah.
Just for impact wise, honestly, for me. And speaking of that, I haven't even cosplayed as Yusuke Urameshi, which I have to do that in the near future.
I thought you were gonna do Kurabara, or did you say Pat was gonna do Kurabara? You said someone was gonna do Kurabara.
I would not. Nope, I'm not doing Kuwabara. That guy's a professional is getting his ass whooped, and I don't want to.
He does love his friends, though. Like I said, his friends.
No, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. He loves his friends, but not to get off topic here. He just reminds me of the new character from the new Mortal Kombat movie. Like,
Oh, God,
you're an okay fighter, but your superpower is getting your ass beat. Like that's basically what it is.
That's why he was in that last arc. That's why he was in the last arc.
All better now, and you know what? Kuwabara would play that role better than anybody ever will. Period. He was Urameshi's Pippin.
Oh my God. Well, okay. At least Jordan needed Pip in the win, though. They needed.
But if we're talking real though, is Urameshi getting the power that he needs if he doesn't think Kuwabara is dead?
I was getting ready to say that. I was just getting ready to say that.
So I mean, in a way, he needs him more or less.
Well, no, he needs to. Like I said, Toguro says you're most protected over Kuwabara.
Yeah,
he is the most protected out of Kuwabara, and that's what happened. That's why they had the fake kill him right there.
Yeah,
but also Yusuke returned the favor, but they were too weak to stop Sensui though.
Yeah, no.
they were too weak to stop Sensui. But no, I think this was a very good topic right here. We talked about our impact, and also, as I said, his impact on society right there on anime in general. Every time we see an anime game when it has shonen, he's always there.
Mm-hmm.
He's always in that game. Which not to say that these shonen jumps are great, but I mean, his legacy still lives on.
Well, and how many animes have spirit guns now?
Some form of it, some variation, yeah.
I mean,
some variations of it, yes.
There's always somebody pointing fingers and shooting things out of them, and nowadays, like it's always there.
Use the OG of it.
He is.
I mean,
like I said, introduce darkness, and this was an anime that also introduced to demons. So I'm like, oh wow, I'm really fucking with demons right now. So I really love the whole demon aspect of it. You know, that's why I saw some similarity between this and Demon Slayer.
Yeah.
I'm still putting this above Demon Slayer because I'm biased. I'm just.
Demon Slayer's getting good though.
No,
it's definitely is.
The movie was great, but overall, as a body of work, even considering that Yu Yu Hakusho probably isn't going to have the same volume as far compared to Demon Slayer, but I think overall, pound for pound, I would still rather watch Yu Yu Hakusho over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, Yu Yu Hakusho is like one of the few animes that's still on YouTube. You can watch the whole season, the whole series on YouTube, and I'm surprised it's not been cut off yet. Which I don't know they're watching this right now, but they might cut off. But no, it's been on YouTube for God knows how long.
Yeah,
people just don't re-upload it. So
I know, and the music's good, battle themes are good, like everything. Even the intro was definitely damn catchy.
Yeah, they had really good intros back then. So.
Nowadays, they're like Bleach has multiple friggin' intros.
Everyone has different intros nowadays. Yeah. Every new season or every couple episodes.
But I just like having the one
arc now.
Yeah.
What's up, Pat?
They switch it up like every arc now.
I like the one.
Black Clover, like they switch up the theme songs, the openings, like every.
I mean, Shield Hero still has some of the best intros, but
yeah.
That's true. That's true. So yeah, I think we're about good on here right now. I think, like I said, we talked about all his main parts, good parts, the bad parts, impact, man. So if anyone that watch anime, you know, if you're OGs like us, you know, tell us your what's your favorite thing about Yusuke, move, impact. Like, let us know in the comment section below. Also, if you haven't watched Yu, I should watch it. You know what I'm saying? I understand y'all are probably, you know, maybe in your 15s or your 20s, shit like that. Show appreciation to the OGs, but you're probably not going to do that. I don't know, but if you know any old heads, they will recommend you to watch Yu Yu Hakusho.
Definitely, they'll know.
they'll know, and if they don't like it, you know, I've lost hope for you then. I lost hope for you. I lost hope on your childhood. I lost hope on how you're going to be a parent to your kids right there. Like, I question your whole entire life right there. Maybe this is just me just being biased, but it's like always show appreciation to the OGs. It's a rule. It's a rule.
Yeah.
God, we really are
So,
getting old. Fuck. We are getting full,
you
but
you can shut up. You ain't even there yet.
I try.
I know. I just like to say it. I just like to say it. I just like to say at least 30s now. I say we're in our prime. We're OGs. Like we know anime now. Like we've been watching this from the jump. You know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh! Look at that fucking look, Nathan. Anyways, don't worry about Nathan. He does, whatever. Fuck him. But no, guys. But like, with all serious though, thank you guys so much for joining. If you're on YouTube, please give us a like. Please subscribe. Also, be sure to watch my recent YouTube video of Resident Evil 4 when I just fought the Regenerator. Scary as shit. You want to see me like bitch out? Be sure to watch that as well. So yeah, folks. You guys, anything else before we head up out of here? Because I actually have to go to a convention actually.
Oh man, enjoy yourself.
Thanks for watching, and let us know if you got other characters you want us to do. That's all.
Oh yeah, like I said. Oh, yeah, sorry. Anime characters, gaming characters,
whatever characters.
Yeah, pop culture characters. Hell, maybe somebody from The Boys. Who knows? Like I said, everything that's Transformers counts too. So maybe we could get that in here as well. So like I said, comment section below, and be sure to share this video. If you missed the video on this will be on Spotify as well, or anywhere you get your podcast, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all the good stuff. So without further ado, folks, all right, y'all have a good day. Enjoy the rest of your Memorial Day weekend as well. Still got 2 days left, so go somewhere, go to the beach maybe. Hopefully it's not raining. I'm sorry, Nathan. Listen, and just enjoy right there because summer is on the way and I can't wait. So everybody, y'all take care. We'll see you guys in the next topic. Peace.
Have a good one, guys.